All right, Gooch Maniacs, welcome back. This is the first episode of Cooking with the Gooch. You might be picking up a little bit of background noise, but today's video, I'm going to be doing my famous peppermint brownies. Now, I'm kind of cheating a little bit today. I'm using a box brownie mix because the recipe I normally use is a family recipe. And trust me, even though both my grandmothers are gone, doesn't matter which one of their recipes I use. If I give their recipe away, I'll get in trouble. Now, what you're going to need is a bowl. You're going to need one of these tenderizing hammers. I know you're wondering why you need a hammer. You'll see. Of course, the good old tablespoon. Now, it calls for a half a cup of oil. And several, all brownie recipes call for oil. I substitute oil with butter. And I got a thing of butter right here. I'm gonna have to heat it up again. And trust me, butter is better than anything else. Now, I just got through making some thinner versions of the same brownies. Like I said, I'm only using the box recipe because I don't want to give away a family recipe. Plus, some of the ingredients in the family recipe, it's easy to find it at Christmas time, but not during the rest of the year, especially the cocoa. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in my mix here. As you can see, it's all in there. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my eggs. And trust me, like I said, I don't want to give away a family recipe. Especially my grandma Gooch's. I remember a story my brother told when he was working at as a bagger at Winn-Dixie one time. He was helping my grandmother out to her car, and she saw a deacon from her church coming out of the ABC store next door with a bag full of liquor, and from what I understand, she pretty much quoted the Bible to him. So yeah, I definitely don't want to cross any paths there by giving away her recipe, or giving away Granny Coughlin's recipe either. Now, I know a lot of y'all are thinking, well, Gooch, why aren't you using blender. I could use a blender, but to be honest with you, a blender, if you use a blender, you can go that route. But to me, the blender will dry out your ingredients. So I don't like to use blenders. So 3 tablespoons of water. I love using water. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up my butter. Heat up my butter, get it melted so I can pour it in here. Now the sticker butter you see sitting on the counter, that's for another step I'm going to do. Of course, the butter is part of my family's recipe. We don't use oil, we use butter. Whenever a recipe calls for oil, we substitute it with butter. I'm already getting kind of doughy here, but it's not as doughy as it should be. Once I add the butter, it'll be even better. Here's the butter. Basically, it's a whole stick of butter. I ended up having 2 sticks when I did them earlier. So I poured half of it in and saved the other half for this. Now, my sister does this recipe too. In fact, it was her and I experimenting this year that came up with the idea of putting mints into our brownies. You see how nice that is? This is the way you want it. You want it to be nice, consistent, and runny like this. So it'd be, so when you go to pour it in, it'll spread evenly. I'll cut one of the thinner ones and show you what they're supposed to look like. Now, I don't eat a lot of desserts. And because I don't eat a lot of desserts, these and the thin ones I made earlier will be going to my workplace. I gotta go down there later anyway. Okay. Now that I got that nice and mixed up really good, I'm gonna take this little small pan right here, take this butter that's been softened, and run it in my bowl, in my dish here. Make sure every bit of the dish gets well buttered. So when I pour my mixture in, and when I cook it, it won't stick. Then I come to pour my mixture in. Now you can use any kind of mix. Like I said, I'm cheating today because I don't want to give away a family recipe. But you can use just about any kind of box mix, or any recipe, any brownie recipe you might find online will do. You want to make sure it gets spread nice and evenly here, because you don't want one brownie to be thicker than others. Now, I know some people like to put nuts in their brownies. I don't. Ever since getting my new teeth, it's kind of hard for me to eat nuts anyway. But I also had one of my 7 nieces. Nutmeg, as we like to call her. She's allergic to nuts, so because she can't have nuts, I don't like to put nuts in anything. Now, for the reason why you need a hammer. And try to clean up as you go, by the way. Another very important rule to cooking is clean as you go. The reason why I got the hammer is because normally I use candy canes, because I normally only do this during Christmas. But because it isn't Christmas time, I'm using these peppermints. Doesn't matter what brand of peppermint, as long as they're the round peppermints, or if it's candy canes during Christmas time. Now it's funny, this type of peppermint, they remind me of my 5th grade Sunday school teacher, John Smith. Because whenever you shook his hand at church, he would always hand you a peppermint. I bought more peppermints than what I actually needed. So I'm probably going to be pulling a John Smith at work for a couple of weeks. And yes, that is one of the issues with doing this. Is that sometimes the peppermints will try to get away from you. That adds to the entertainment value of this video. And this one's trying to be a hard one to crack. There we go. You want to get it hard, you want to get it nice and powdery. Put it on top. And by the way, even though you're putting it on top, it will sink down to the bottom as it cooks. And it will mix in and almost be marble-like texture. I'll get one of the thin ones and show you. If you notice, I'm left-handed. I do everything left-handed but vote. And I love using this hammer. And as most of y'all know, I love cooking anyway, and cooking's my way of relieving stress. Okay, that shot our way into the living room. Oh. I do 8 peppermints because I really like a pepperminty flavor to it. Now, I already have my oven preheated to 350. Two more minutes to go, and then I'll turn the camera facing the oven. By the way, I'm up to 419 subscribers out of the needed 500. I'd like to thank everyone who has subscribed lately. I appreciate y'all subscribing. Peppermint is sticking to my hands. I want to have a nice fine powder of peppermint on the counter here, but nothing I can't clean up. And if I don't clean it up, my sister will, because that's what a woman's job is. It's a joke, folks. I don't want to hear comments about me being sexist. It's a joke. Now, as you can see, nice and covered with peppermint. I'm going to shake it around a little bit to make sure a lot more of it gets covered. Now, I'm going to turn the camera around, facing the oven here. As you can see, the top oven. The beauty part about this oven is it's a convection oven. So everything cooks faster. See here. It says 29 to 30 minutes. I won't do it for 27 minutes because I don't think I need the full 29. Cook time to 7, start. So, I want to show you the other ones. I'm not a very good at cutting. I'm gonna cut one of the other of the thin brownies and show you. In fact, it fell apart. That's how good it is. This is the brownie. You see the little bit of the peppermint there. Like I said, it kind of fell apart on me. But I don't normally eat desserts. But show you that they're good and safe to eat. I'm eating one for y'all. I hope you like this. Subscribe. If you want me to do more serious videos like the Walmart one, let me know in the comments. And remember, I am the sex appeal of Elvis, leadership qualities of Ronald Reagan, the Hall of Fame potential of George Brett, the styling profiling of the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair, the hardcore heart of Mick Foley. Always right like Rush Limbaugh. And the toughness of Chuck Norris, all rolled into one. THEGOOCH. And join me later on today as I do today's food of Dove Mountain Brewery. Till next time, be good to each other.